for the first 2 rounds, Tyson's dangerous. Are you kidding me? He's dangerous. I mean, boy, give him all the credit in the world that he respected the sport enough to go learn it, and he took his vision to boxing from the YouTube.
The thing that initially kicked this fight off was me taking ayahuasca about 2.5 years ago and seeing a vision of me and Mike Tyson fighting.
Mike Tyson's always Mike Tyson. Like you said, people have a plan until they get punched in the face.
But when did this whole thing start?
The thing that initially kicked this fight off was...
As the biggest fight of the year is just a few days away, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul are in the final stage of training. Many analysts predict that Mike Tyson's career will be permanently over if Jake Paul wins the fight.
Is he a legitimate boxer?
A legitimate boxer, yes. People mocked me when I was saying that before, but now I think people are coming around. And the way I look at it, I say, if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was like 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, or beat athletes, and beat a bunch of MMA fighters, you'd go, this kid can fight.
Rogan said that despite Jake's being a YouTuber, he really proved himself to be the real deal in boxing, and even the wins of Jake, especially among other boxers, prove that he can really fight. He noted that when you look at his technique, power, and discipline in boxing, it's clear that Jake has real skill.
Fantastic event. Anyone who don't think it's a fantastic event is jealous. Mainly people who ain't getting paid from it will be jealous, obviously, because it's not them. So they've been probably speaking bad about it, but obviously I'm not involved in it, I'm not getting paid from it, but I can see a massive event on a large scale when I see it, and I can appreciate that. I appreciate Mike performing at his age, and I appreciate Jake performing and bringing so many eyeballs to boxing.
Tyson Fury praised the impact of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson and highlighted that some critics might be jealous of Jake's success in the spotlight, but he respects both Jake and Mike for bringing more eyes to the sport.
I think the YouTuber boxing has brought a lot to the game. It's changed it, it's evolved it over the years. I saw two guys like 55 years old, £500 each the other day, fighting and making money, made like 400 or 500 grand each. That is unbelievable. 10 years ago, that would never happen. Never. Now, anybody from any background can go in a fight with somebody and make dough. Pay the bills, provide for the family. That's fantastic.
Tyson Fury has noted how boxing has evolved, crediting it for opening up opportunities for people from all backgrounds to earn significant money through the sport. Fury finds it fantastic that boxing now allows anyone the chance to step into the ring, earn well, and support their families, something he sees as a major positive change in the sport.
All Mike has to do is touch him one time, and Mike Tyson has that one-hitter quitter power. That's the last thing that goes. Like I said, your speed will go, your agility will go. The way you throw punches might be a little bit slower. But when you got that one-hitter quitter power, it evens everything out. But that power stays there for life.
Fernando Vargas, former professional boxer, carefully sees the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson matches and shows his focus on the formidable power Tyson still possesses, even at his age. Vargas explained that while certain attributes like speed, agility, and reflexes tend to diminish over time, pure knockout power, the kind Tyson is known for, remains and can be a game changer.
So, all Mike has to do is touch him one time. And then he's never been hit with anything like that in his life. That's all I gotta say about that.
He referred to Tyson's power as one-hitter quitter, meaning Tyson only needs to land a single clean punch to end the fight. Vargas stressed that Jake Paul, despite his growth in boxing, has never encountered the kind of force Tyson can generate.
Nice left hook. Up.
Was good for today. Yeah. I truly did.
You sure?
Yeah, me
yes.
too.
You fucking sure?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. You sure? Yeah. With me too,
Yes.
right? Let's do this.
You did great.
We're done.
We're gonna do it.
You sure?
Yes.
Yeah. Trust me. I got a lot in me. It's work, boy. Just getting started.
Teddy Atlas shared his thoughts on Mike Tyson's abilities, that his continued sharpness in training can be attributed to his natural athleticism and quick twitch muscles. Atlas acknowledged that while Tyson may no longer be able to perform at the same level he once did in the ring, the fundamental power and skill he built over his career are still there, at a level that most people can't even comprehend.
The reason he looks so good on the pads is because he still has those quick twitch muscles. He still has that power. He still has those abilities that an average person will never have. You know, even at that age, it doesn't mean that he can use them in the arena he used to use them in, or at that level, of course not. But he still has them at a higher level than people would ever imagine.
While Tyson may not be able to execute those moves as fluidly or with the same intensity as in his prime, his natural talent and explosiveness are still present. Atlas also gave credit to Jake Paul for transitioning from YouTube to boxing, respecting the sport enough to learn it seriously and turn it into a legitimate career. He praised Jake for turning his vision into a reality, and that spirit played a role in Jake's success.
If it is, and they're going to legitimately go at it, for the first 2 rounds, Tyson's dangerous. Are you kidding me? He's dangerous. I mean, boy, give him all the credit in the world that he respected the sport enough to go learn it, and he took his vision to boxing from the YouTube platform, and he took it to this, and he made it a reality. God bless him. I mean, really, the American way. You know, he went out and made money on an idea, and hard work behind that idea.
Teddy Atlas further emphasized that if Mike Tyson approaches the fight in a legitimate, serious manner, particularly in the first 2 rounds, Jake Paul could find himself in significant danger. Tyson's power and explosive nature, especially early on, would make him a very real threat. However, Atlas acknowledged the difficulty in predicting the fight's outcome, noting that while Tyson still possesses immense talent, boxing success is also shaped by one's personality and temperament.
But for those first 2 rounds, if Tyson does come out there in a legitimate way trying to catch him the way he used to, it could be hairy for Paul, but it's hard to base, because I always say that no matter what your talents are, it's still attached to your personality and your temperament. You know, I used to say for all those years at ESPN, people would say, oh, Teddy, this guy's should be a killer. You know, he's got power, he's got this, he should be a killer. And I look at them and say, why? What do you mean, Teddy? Look at the talent, look at those abilities. I said, but it ain't his temperament. It ain't him. If that ain't his temperament, if a guy is a guy that's prone to being careful and cautious, and that's his temperament, how are you going to make him Joe Frazier?
Teddy doesn't just touch on the importance of physical preparation, he dives deep into the mental game of boxing. His lead argument is clear: emotions and mindset can make or break a fighter's performance. If a boxer enters the ring with a carefree attitude or treats the upcoming bout like it's a joke, that's a red flag. The fight is just as much mental as it is physical, and without the right mindset, the goal will always be out of reach.
It could be hairy for Paul, but it's hard to base, because I always say that no matter what your talents are, it's still attached to your personality and your temperament. You know, I used to say for all those years at ESPN, people would say, oh, Teddy, this guy's should be a killer. You know, he's got power, he's got this, he should be a killer. And I look at them and say, why? What do you mean, Teddy? Look at the talent, look at those abilities. I said, but it ain't his temperament. It ain't him.
UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou didn't hold back when he confidently declared that Mike Tyson would knock out Jake Paul. With a reputation built on his own brutal knockout power, Ngannou knows firsthand what it takes to deliver a crushing blow, and he believes Tyson's legendary one-hitter quitter is more than enough to end the fight.
You said that you think Mike Tyson's gonna beat Mike.
Yeah. I do. I've seen how Tyson moves around. He moves like this. And I'm like, calm down.
He still got it.
He's not.
You think Mike Tyson's knocking him out?
Either way, I think Mike Tyson will beat you.
Damn, so we better enjoy our time with you while we got it, brother.
Hey, bro, it's been good, y'all.
Jim Lampley, renowned American sports commentator and news anchor with a long history of covering the sport, expressed a deep sense of concern and care for Mike Tyson, and even said Tyson is still at a chance to win. He also pointed out the obvious danger of stepping into the ring at such an age, regardless of the opponent. Lampley further explained that Jake Paul would be well prepared for the match, physically training and getting into peak shape to land a knockout punch. Jim Lampley even said he hopes Mike Tyson comes out healthier as well as a wealthier fighter after this clash. He suggested that Tyson's approach would likely involve taking his time to wear Jake Paul down gradually, using his experience and power to outlast him over the course of several rounds. Lampley's focus was not just on the outcome, but on Tyson's well-being, given his age and the risks involved in returning to the ring after such a long time. Ultimately, Lampley wishes for Tyson to have a successful return to the ring, both in terms of the fight and his financial future.
The age difference is big enough that the event is dangerous. I kind of wish that Mike had found some other way to do business rather than to fight somebody who's Jake's age and has a chance to get in the kind of shape that Jake might get into. But he's still a far piece removed from understanding boxing and having the kind of refined skills that Mike had at his peak.
Jim Lampley also cited the difference in age as a cause for concern, admitting that although the event generated a great deal of excitement, the age difference was such that it could be quite hazardous. He wished Mike Tyson could have found a different means of doing business than being in the ring with someone like Jake, who, though he has made a better fight of himself, remains infinitely removed from the polished boxing skills that Tyson possessed at his peak.
Again, the question is, how much of Mike do you get to see when he's 57 years old? Again, I love him. I'm rooting for him. I'm not going to make the buy. It's not an event that I want to see. It's too much of a distortion. It's not competition. It's a freak show.
Jake Paul's training is getting extremely tougher day by day as he gears up for this high-stakes fight. Despite his progress, he remains humble, acknowledging he's playing catch-up to fighters with lifelong experience. This blend of humility and relentless dedication showcases Jake's deep respect for boxing and the massive challenge he's about to face, making his journey even more compelling.
For this camp, since I'm a heavyweight, 3-mile runs.
Trying to keep the weight?
Yeah, stay a little heavier, and the fight is a little shorter.
Because he's an old man?
Yeah, that's it. I like to go to senior citizen homes and just pick out my next opponent.
He dreams a lot.
A lot of dreaming.
I knew it would all come true. This is not going to come true, young man.
Jake Paul has nothing but deep respect for Mike Tyson, recognizing him as one of the two most iconic boxers of all time, alongside Muhammad Ali. Stepping into the ring with Tyson isn't just a fight for Jake, it's the fulfillment of a dream. For Jake, this matchup is about honoring a legend whose resilience, power, and incredible story have inspired him and countless others. As the fight draws closer, Jake sees its historic significance not only because of Tyson's place in boxing history, but also because of its massive global stage, with Netflix broadcasting it to millions.
Man, he's a legend, you know? This is the guy. This is one of the two most famous boxers to ever live, him and Muhammad Ali. This is a dream come true for me. I am inspired by Mike, his story, you know, what he's persevered through. And to be able to fight him and to share the ring with such a legend is a special moment for me, and it's historic. And the fact that we did it with Netflix, it's the biggest fight of the century, and that's what I love to do. Make history, have fun, and go to war.
For Jake Paul, this fight is a once-in-a-lifetime, which he will at any cost not let slip through his fingers. As he looks back to that moment, he realizes he's standing in front of one, if not the living legend and fighting icon whom he's idolized since he can remember. It would be a proof of self and honor to another figure who has made a significant change in the boxing world. Katie Taylor, the undisputed lightweight champion, is thrilled to be part of the Tyson-Paul undercard, but shares some of the concerns voiced by fellow fighters. While admitting Tyson was one of the all-time great boxers, Taylor also knows the unique challenges a former champion at Tyson's age faces. Despite these odds, she believes it would be a phenomenal feat for anyone to top Tyson, considering all the years that passed since the good old days when he ruled.
I have my concerns as well, just like everybody else. I absolutely love Mike Tyson. he's everybody's hero in the sport, isn't he? He's an icon, legend in the sport, and I just don't want to see him losing to Jake Paul. I just really respect Mike as a fighter and what he's done for the sport, and there's just nobody like him as a heavyweight. He walked into the ring with this aura. It's just he's a black towel around him, no music sometimes. It's just those kind of fighters are just different, I think. And
Katie Taylor also gave her due credit to Jake Paul. As for his role in making this historic fight a reality, there continues to be much debate about the box and the abilities of Jake, but Katie is clear that he's an outstanding businessman who grabbed this golden opportunity to promote himself.
But then you have this young YouTuber guy, Jake Paul, who's an amazing businessman. He's improved so much as a fighter as well. He's a good athlete. He's young and fresh, and I just don't want him to hurt Mike Tyson. I don't want him to beat Mike Tyson, and I want Mike Tyson to come out obviously victorious just because of the respect that I have of him as a fighter. He's got a bit of a punch, and it's funny, a few years ago when Jake Paul was initially on one of these cards, I was thinking, what's this guy doing fighting on a card? I was nearly so critical of him fighting on a big stage like this, getting this opportunity, but here he is. A few years later, he's one of the biggest names in the sport, and he's done so well for himself. It's amazing.
However, one concern that Katie Taylor expressed was the potential fallout if Jake Paul managed to defeat Mike Tyson. While the fight is generating immense excitement, she fears that if Jake were to drop Tyson, his reputation could be severely damaged. The consequences could be far-reaching, as a victory over a boxing legend like Tyson might not bring the respect Jake anticipates from other fighters in the division. Instead, it could tarnish his image, leading to skepticism and questions about the legitimacy of his rise in the sport.
It's a very tough pill to swallow. It's nearly like a lose-lose situation for Jake Paul, I think, isn't it? I mean, he's not going to get much credit for it because now Mike Tyson's 58 years old. But just how iconic Mike Tyson is, and you're right that Jake Paul has done so well for himself, and he's actually improving as a fighter as well.
Clean shot, Mike. Excellent. Nice left hook. Up. We're done. The job is over. We're done. 4, 3, 2, 1, and time! Oh!
In his last training footage, Mike Tyson looked invincible, slamming precision and power that made him a legend. Calculative aggressiveness was epitomized by relentless focus, wherein Tyson was shown to move like his prime self. Tyson's trainer's voice is dripping with confidence as he fuels the belief that Tyson still has what it takes to dominate.
Complete game. Beautiful game. Complete. There's nothing to say. You're complete. Exactly, just enough. Beautiful roll, Mike. Excellent roll. Excellent defense, champ. This is the perfect head position. This we talk about it. 40 seconds. You are winning the fight, so there's no reason for you to rush. We are winning the fight. All good for us.
The atmosphere in the gym is full of energy. They wouldn't for a moment doubt their minds that the legend has not died and that the scary Tyson that once intimidated his opponents still lives and never dies. To them, it is not a legendary comeback, but rather a bold declaration of the still possession of his former day power.
This fight means everything in the world to me and more. It's the moment to show the world who I truly am, because there's been all these misunderstandings, misconceptions.
Jake definitely gets a lot of hate for whatever reason they feel like they need to hate him on. In my opinion, I think most of the hate comes from a place of jealousy.
Jake's coach Larry Wade thinks many people are still jealous of Jake Paul, as in a short time he is going to fight a legendary Mike Tyson. According to Wade, despite facing criticism and skepticism, Jake has quickly made a name for himself in boxing.
But I can also understand the fact that there's some reflection on yourself, because you see a guy who didn't come from this sport but give more to the sport than 99% of the people that are in the sport.
Don't always look at the hate as a bad thing. It's something that people are supposed to do. What if we didn't have that? What if everybody liked everything that Jake did? Maybe this shit wouldn't be as fun as it is, proving people wrong time and time again. It might be boring. Maybe we wouldn't be doing this. Jake has went from a young man doing some crazy shit on camera to being really a lifestyle, a brand, starting businesses, helping boxers, helping female boxers, bringing more eyes to the sport, more money to the sport.
By stepping into the ring with celebrities and former athletes, Jake has created a bridge between boxing and the entertainment world. This has led to increased media coverage and viewership from people who follow his YouTube career but may not have been traditional boxing fans.
And we have somewhat of a Superman syndrome, where we feel like we can't be beat.
August, I'm back, baby.
To beat Mike Tyson, Jake works extremely hard and adopts a highly strategic approach to prepare for his potential fight. Wade has been helping him with strength and conditioning, while other boxing specialists are refining his technique.
Private school Perry, time to go back to school. Get W at Walmart. Psych, you really thought I was partying? We out here, high altitude, Colorado Springs, with the Olympians, Team USA Boxing. Let's get it. Let's go. I'm coming for you, Mike.
Paul is reportedly putting in long hours in the gym, focusing on improving his boxing fundamentals, power, and endurance. Jake knows that facing Tyson is not just a physical challenge, but a mental one as well.
What is possible when you really set your mind to something, and that's more so what I'm focused on. So it's definitely not as exciting, and there's not as much glitz and glamour around it anymore. And I would say more so just the hardest camp, just sparring 300-pound guys back to back and doing the jogs, you know, weighing 220 pounds. All the miles, all the work at the track is a lot more difficult than running around weighing 205 pounds. So this is definitely the hardest I've pushed myself mentally.
Jake will need to stay calm if he faces Tyson's aggressive approach. Tyson has been known to break down his opponents mentally with his raw intensity. The contrast between Paul's rapid rise and Tyson's enduring legacy highlights the monumental challenge ahead for Jake. As the countdown to the biggest fight of the year continues, all eyes will be on the legendary Mike Tyson and the rising star Jake Paul. With Tyson's undeniable power and legacy on the line, and Jake Paul determined to prove himself, this showdown promises to be more than just a fight. It's a battle for respect, history, and the future of boxing. Do you think Tyson can still dominate the ring at this age? Or has Father Time caught up with him? Will Jake Paul prove his critics wrong and silence the doubters? Or is he biting off more than he can chew? What are your predictions for an early knockout or a longer battle? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.